Welcome to NYSA Presents, where you see what you've been missing in 3D. Well, that was a fast year, depending upon how you look at it. And it finds me here and you there. Actually, today I'm coming to you from the Special Effects Department of Universal NBC at Rockefeller Center. Why? Well, just to prove we can do it, or discover why we can't. Either way, we'll learn something. It's a winning situation. This is actually the Special Effects Department. My good friend John Greenfield has been kind enough to let me use this. Anyway, actually today I'm doing some Johnny Laser work for Kid Cudi that you can see tonight if you tune into Saturday Night Live. Consider this the pre-show. Anyway, we all want to thank you for stopping in as often as you have. You've done this well over 40 times. Or we've done it well over 40 times. You might have done it a little less, but we'll let you slide for that. We've done it over 40 times. And apparently you keep showing up, so we'll keep doing it. This weekend, we have a return of Joe Pedoto's ANAGLYPH Jukebox, a great tour of archaeological sites in Turkey by our friend and highly gifted photographer and camera maker, Oktay Akdeniz. And he'll be joining us actually from Istanbul, Turkey. And we also have another week of our stereo gallery images, The Signs of Spring, with images from Dave COMEAU and David HEISER. And we're going to keep it going for another week. So go through those pictures of yours and find ones that you want to share with us. Next week, we have Tom Zariga from Magnetic 3D, who will be showing us what's new in glasses-free 3D monitors. Now, they may need me to be on the set, in which case I got to take off. But I'll be leaving you in the expert hands of E. James Smith, who is a voiceover talent, as well as a prized video editor. And I'm sure he's going to make a lot less mistakes than I do. Anyway, I forgot to wish you guys happy Easter last week. My mistake. So happy Easter. And also happy Ramadan for the Ramadanians. And really, happy spring to everyone. So let's get on with the show. Before I start to sell, hey, wait a minute, I can move something here. Ben Nye's, there's great stuff in this place. I'm going to see if I can grab a few things in a few minutes. Ben Nye Stage Blood with that misty fresh flavor. So if you need to spit out a tooth, followed by some red gore, this is the stuff for you. Oh, hey, wait a minute. We have a late night with David Letterman sponge. You need one of these because no home is complete without a David Letterman sponge. Anyway, enough fun for me anyway. Oh yeah, hot. Keep away. I have no idea where that's up there, but I ain't taking any chances. So now we're going to start with our ANAGLYPH Jukebox. Take it away, DB.
Welcome to today's edition of the ANAGLYPH Jukebox. You never know what you'll find on the old jukebox. Let's press B31. Okay, we've got the 3D Art Book by Tristan Eaton. The 3D Art Book grew out of an exhibition Tristan Eaton held at a now defunct East Village gallery, SOMA, in 2004. 3D Happy Action Fun. It originally consisted of 20 solo pieces by Eaton. Then he decided to open up the show by collaborating on 3D images with 4 of his favorite artists, Filth, Jeff Soto, the London Police, and Superdude. They traded half-finished Adobe Illustrator files back and forth, then Eaton processed them all for 3D. A separate limited edition was printed for each image as part of the show. Check out tristaneaton.com if you're not already familiar with this amazing artist. Back in the 1980s and 90s, the ANAGLYPH Jukebox used to work on limited edition silkscreen prints too. All the solvents I inhaled back then make it especially easy for me to free view stereo pairs today. Brain damage significant without any. Eaton enjoys collaborating with other artists, but he also had an agenda. to draw more of them into the 3D world he loved so much. Quote, "Through 2009 and into 2010, I was fixated on the idea of recruiting other artists into the world of stereoscopic art. Using everything I learned from the 2004 show, I sent an invitation out to certain artists, and this, the 3D art book, is the final result." The 3D art book has an engaging foreword by Carlo McCormick. He helps us, quote, "understand how these artworks belong to an extensive history of visual deceptions construed in the name of a greater perceptual truth." McCormick also gives a shout out to silver-haired devil George Braque. You know, the great French painter, ecologist, and printmaker that Picasso stole Cubism from? Quote, "Cubists, like Braque, we might argue, presented a radical contribution to the authority of linear perspective by supplanting its positioning of the viewer in a set place for the sake of realism, with a cacophony of disparate perspectives based on a shifting subjectivity." McCormick also makes a case for the belief that, quote, "all these modes of expression are ultimately a kind of participatory art. In putting on the glasses, we take part in the art, but not merely by matter of invitation. It is quite a necessity. As the proverbial falling tree in the woods, 3D art demands the presence of a viewer to achieve its dimensionality." Let's admit at the outset that there are a lot of critical reviews for the 3D art book concerning the quality and the ghosting issues of the more than 100 printed anaglyphs. This is a common issue with anaglyphs and ink. The RGB spectrum of your typical screen has a wider color range than that of your 4-color process press: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Then, too, the anaglyph glasses that are available vary widely in their ability to perform cancellation. Surprisingly, you may be better off with quality paper red cyan glasses than with more expensive ones with plastic lenses. I purchased the 3D art book used without the original 3D glasses, so I can't judge how effective they were. I've got a lucky pair of Gerald Marks paper glasses with imported color lenses that are among the best I've ever used. I've tried these and some others. Bottom line, significant issues remain for a number of images that compromises their 3D effect. However, there are many that work well and a handful that are stunning, as you can see from this selection, I hope. I think these successes make the entire project worthwhile. The Anaglyph Jukebox would like to close with this section of Carlo McCormick's foreword. Quote, "What all 3D systems may ultimately have in common is that they are widely regarded as novelties. However, the problem of rendering and reading images in the third dimension has vexed scientists, artists, and philosophers for centuries, involved myriad disciplines like mathematics, optics, geometry, physics, and psychology. If it feels a bit trivial holding a pair of paper glasses to look at two-color drawings right now, it is worth considering that artists continue to return to these issues in no small part because they have proven fundamental to the way we see and understand the world around us."
Great job. As always, unfortunately, one second. Wow, that was tasty. Hey, what would happen if someone dated your came into the door and he was dating your daughter? It looked like this. You'd say either this guy's extremely safe or I don't know what you'd say. But that was fantastic.
A round of applause.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I would say you were Daft Punk if you came to my door to date my daughter.
There we are. Well, here's to all the Daft Punks. Remember, heat, hot, keep away. Keep away. So now you can see what this place looks like. There we are. We have the official look. Hey, Jamie, you popped in. Good seeing you. Knowing you were around. There we are. Now, we're going to get on to our, for some reason it's stuck. We're stuck on you, man. Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. I'm back. So that's what this place looks. I can actually say this. Here's what this place looks like. Anyway, now we're going to go into the great images. The signs of spring. I was looking for a spring here. I could not find one, but we're going to, I'll bet we'll find one now. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it because things are a little different at this point. Oh, beautiful. 1 second while I disengage. Uh-oh, my mask is coming off. Everybody back away. 6 feet. Dave COMEAU. What was this shot with?
Okay, so all of these images are taken at the Greenwood Cemetery. This is shot with an iPhone with a mirror using the catadiatropic Gordon Au system of mirror photography, where you essentially stick a mirror on the side and you zoom in. So the scale is a little bit hard to see. In this one, you can see the grass in the front, so that's real grass. These are very small flowers of some sort at the Greenwood Cemetery. That's
the trick with that. You don't even realize the scale of it. You know, it's like you need a foot in there or something to be able to tell. It's a beautiful shot. It's an incredibly beautiful shot. And I know how difficult that is to get.
Thanks. So these are, I don't know, some kind of little tendrils coming up out of the ground. If anybody has any guess at what they might be, stick them in the chat. Again, the shooting is a little bit of a trial and error, but since it's digital, you can just try multiple times.
And this is the same thing that Gordon's, I forget what he calls it. Is that the same thing, or was this shot with a?
Yep, it's shot with the mirror and the iPhone. And sometimes it's hard to crop them because it's hard to find where the mirror starts. The mirror blends so well into the picture. So you can go to the next one. Okay, so here I did kind of a, this is to give you a sense of the scale. I saw this tomb, and then I saw this little kind of right in the middle on the bottom, you can see there's a little bit of moss with a little bit of greenery. And so if you go to the next one, then what we've done is we've zoomed in really close on that moss. So you can see the little clovers growing, and then that little leaf was kind of floating there in some kind of dust.
Now you zoomed in digitally? In other words, in post?
No. I used the iPhone and the mirror for this shot. The other shot was taken with probably a W3 or my dual rig. Okay, again, for the sense of scale, this is some kind of some gravestones, of course, and then I think maybe like a dogwood tree. Someone can adjust or can advise in the chat. And so then I took the little mirror rig just to get a close-up of all of them. And this actually answered one of my questions I had on a previous visit, those little fuzzy bits around in the middle that are getting peeled off. I found those on the ground and I wondered where they were from. And now I know they're from this type of tree as it sheds.
What is the scale of that, Dave? How big is that?
Like if you go back to the previous one, you can see, right? So that's one of the buds on that tree.
I think someone said that the one with the tendrils coming out, the one with the tendrils coming out of the ground, which is several back, was that in the cemetery too?
Yes.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Okay, and so now we move on to Dave HEISER. So that's it for me. Hold on a second, Dave. I want to get some applause for myself.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
I've got the thing. It's all the roles are switched this week.
Yeah, that's good. Once you get, after a year's worth of getting it one way, you switch everything. What the hell?
Okay, Dave HEISER.
Yeah, so this is fairway fungi, and the ones over on the right side are Callaway, which are more desirable fungi. And then the other ones over there on the left are the Wilson, which are kind of lower class fungi.
Oh, there are grades of fungi.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Callaway and Wilson. That's a
And how'd
gag,
you
you
become,
know.
okay. And how'd you become an expert in fungi?
You know, those are golf balls, you know. But anyway, I took that with a cha-cha with my phone.
That needed a rim shot, but yes, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this was also done with the cha-cha with my Samsung phone. And I was thinking about trying to get some spring shots and was passing an off-road warehouse store. So I stopped in. Perfect.
Well, you know, I just realized the fungi because you're a really fun guy.
Uh-huh.
That's all I could think of. Wait, now, where was that shop? Where was that you shot?
That last one was at an off-road warehouse in Temecula, California.
Wow.
I called it Springs in the Air.
Excellent.
And this was done with one of my homemade Raspberry Pi cameras. I made a macro camera, and I love these tomato worms. I think they're really interesting. Now, this one's a little wonky.
But it looks luminous. It's really a great shot. It's like,
yeah, you can kind of actually see into it a little bit, see its innards.
Looks like it just crawled out of a tequila bottle.
Yeah, don't forget the applause.
You gotta get the applause in.
I'm unmuted. Happy anniversary, everybody. Hello, John. Hello, all.
Yeah.
All right, great.
See, here's to thank you, Jack. Thank you. Actually, you know what? We need a battle of Jack. I'm sure we can find one, but thank you, Jack. Well, one day we'll all be together drinking, Jack. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Oktay Akdeniz from his home in Istanbul, Turkey.
Before starting the slideshow, I would like to present a very brief history of Anatolia, which is present-day Turkey. Because of its strategic geographic position bridging Europe and Asia, Anatolia has been coveted by many ambitious civilizations throughout history. The area that Turkey covers, also known as Asia Minor, has traditionally been the center stage for the rise and fall of the world's great empires. Each civilization fall from grace left imprints on various cultural elements like language, architecture, cuisine, and religion. Being an architect myself, I tried to record the architectural traces of some of these ancient civilizations in 3D photography. There are literally thousands of archaeological sites in Turkey, some big and some small. Some are in good and restored condition, some are just ruins, and some are still under the earth waiting discovery. I have visited and taken tens of thousands of 3D photographs of these ancient sites. In this slideshow, I will present 25 of those sites from prehistoric times until the end of the classical Anatolia period. This span corresponds to about from 10,000 BC to 200 AD. Before starting the show, I want to give some information about the first site, which is called Göbekli Tepe. It is the oldest man-made structure on Earth that dates back to 10,000 BC, which makes it 12,000 years old. Its discovery has great importance since it changed the crucial stage in the development of human society. It was previously assumed that humans started building and having spiritual rituals only after they settled and started agricultural production. But the structures in Göbekli Tepe were built much earlier than first human settlements. The builders of Göbekli Tepe were hunter-gatherers, but possessed building skills and probably performed religious rituals. Now we can go on with the show. I have taken these photographs 10 years ago when the top of the site was still open. Within 10 years, it was declared a World Cultural Heritage Site, and the geodesic roof was installed so that now the site cannot be photographed under the sunlight. 6 units like these circles are unearthed, and many are still under the ground. Çatalhöyük is in central Turkey, one of the earliest settlements of the humankind with domesticated animals and agriculture dating back to 7000 BC, which makes it 9,000 years old. Hittite Empire is an important landmark in the Anatolian history. It was established at 700 BC. As usual, as more and more regions rebelled against a central rule, it fell apart at the end of the Bronze Age at 1200 BC. Mount Nemrut, at 7,000 feet altitude, has those statues of kings and gods from a temple built by King Antiochus. In ancient times, important people used to build tombs for themselves where they would be buried after their death. Here are a few examples. These tombs are, for example, carved into the rocks. These king's tombs also are carved into the rocks. Tralles is an ancient town built during the Persian domination. It was first captured by Alexander the Great and then by the Romans. Aphrodisias was the provincial capital of the region and the Roman province of Caria in southwest Turkey, which was named after the great goddess of love, Aphrodite. Magnesia was an ancient city in Ionia at an important location commercially and strategically. The name magnet actually comes from the minerals found in Magnesia. Kyberia is an ancient Hellenistic city, part of a three-state confederation. But Kyberia had 2 votes, where the others had 1 vote only. This is a stadium. Agora of Smyrna, originally by Greeks in the 4th century. It was ruined by an earthquake. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius ordered its reconstruction. Mira is an ancient town in present-day Antalya city of Turkey. Christian bishop St. Nicholas, also known as Santa Claus, was an inhabitant of Mira. Patara is another Lycian city at the Mediterranean coast of Turkey. It is also famous for its 11 miles long Patara beach, which is a breeding ground for loggerhead sea turtles, which are also called caretta caretta. Didyma was an ancient Greek sanctuary at the Aegean coast in the domain of Miletus. Apollo was the main deity of the sanctuary in Didyma. Aspendos Antique Theatre is noted as one of the best preserved antique theatres in the world. With a capacity of 12,000 seats, it is still being used annually each June and July by the Aspendos International Opera and Ballet Festival. Perge was an ancient and important city in the Mediterranean region, which existed even during the Hittite period. Side is a coastal town close to Perge. Its ancient Roman theater, built around the 2nd century AD, has a capacity of 7,000 people. Euromos was an ancient city in Caria at southwest Anatolia. The building photographed here is the temple of Zeus Lepsinos from the reign of Emperor Hadrian. Knidos is a Carian city in southwest Anatolia. It has 2 seaports, one military and another one commercial. The temple of Aphrodite was also located there. It is said that it had a population of 30,000. I visit Knidos very frequently because it is less than 10 minutes drive away from our summer house where we have been staying from the beginning of the pandemic. Hierapolis was an ancient city located on hot springs in classical Phrygia in southwestern Anatolia. The theater was probably constructed under the reign of Hadrian after the earthquake of 60 AD. Pergamon was the capital of the Kingdom of Pergamon. The early settlements can be detected as far as the Archaic period, that is 800 to 500 BC. Emperor Hadrian raised the city to the rank of metropolis and thereby elevated it above its local rivals Ephesus and Smyrna. NYSA is located at the west side of Turkey. Its theater has a capacity of 12,000 people. Its library, dating from the 2nd century AD, is the second best preserved ancient library in Turkey after the Caesars Library in Ephesus. Stratonikeia was one of the most important towns in the interior of ancient Caria. It was named after Stratonic, wife of the Seleucid king Antiochus I. Diochysaria was a town located at the ancient Cilicia and was part of the Seleucid Empire. It was mainly used as a sacred place for people. During the Christian age, most of the temples were converted to churches. Sardis was the capital of ancient kingdom of Lydia. Among the gymnasium and other buildings, the excavation also unearths the most impressive synagogue discovered in the Western diaspora from antiquity, yielding Hebrew and Greek inscriptions. Miletos in Western Anatolia was inhabited as early as during the Neolithic and Bronze Ages. Miletos was the site of origin of the Greek philosophical and scientific tradition. The famous philosopher and mathematician Thales was from Miletos. Laodicea is also located in ancient Caria. Benefiting from its advantageous position on a trade route, it became one of the flourishing commercial cities of Anatolia in which large money transactions were carried on. And finally, Ephesus. The name Ephesus probably derived from the Hittite name Apasa. It was located on the coast of the Aegean Sea. It was a port city. The area was inhabited as early as the Neolithic age, which is about 6000 BC. The population of the city in Roman times was estimated to number up to 225,000 people. It was also an important center for early Christianity from 50 AD. The Apostle Paul lived in Ephesus. Today, the ruins of Ephesus are a favorite international and local tourist attraction.
Oktay, that was phenomenal. Thank you for taking us on a journey that somewhere along the way, I would say most of the people who are listening, their DNA traveled through there. You may not know who did, but you wouldn't be here because that was an important trade route. That was like a really significant route. So someone inevitably that you're here right now passed through that place for whatever reason. And it's a wonder to be able to do that. That's why I love stereographers so much, because they could bring you right in there. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, I can't help but see, every time I see magnesia, I think of milk of magnesia. That's the level of my architectural and my understanding of that. I'm just wondering if there was because someone came up with that stuff, a blue bottle, right, of milk of magnesia. Very interesting to me that someone, probably from that area, I would think. Did you ever hear that, Oktay? Milk of magnesia?
Milk of magnesia? Oh, yeah. That's for the diarrhea, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, while your DNA was traveling through that neighborhood, it turns out...
in the word magnesia, magnet and magnesium comes from that town. The town is still called Magnesia.
Amazing.
The mineral magnet was plenty in the mountains of Magnesia, and they were playing with magnets at 2,000 3,000 years ago. It was very, very interesting for people when they could pull iron pieces with some mineral. So they called that mineral after the name of the city.
And imagine the impact that had on navigation, right? It was a toy until someone realized, hey,
now it became the compass and everything.
How convenient this thing is. It's always pointing towards it. Yeah. So fascinating. It was a wonderful journey you've taken us on, and we all, everybody appreciates it. Wait a second, I'm syncing here. There we go. That was amazing. Well, again, thank you all for stopping by. Of course, what we'll have afterwards is Dave COMEAU and friends, and everyone will be in the after party. I'm sure you're going to have a million questions